In this question, we have to find out the middle term for the given binomial expression. So here we see that the value of the index n is 20, which is an even number. Now, for an n is even, then the middle term will be given by the formula. The middle term is equals to n over 2 plus 1. So we have 20 over 2 plus 1, which when we solve it gives us 20 over 2 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, the 11th term. So we have the 11th term as the middle term. That means we have to find out the value of t11, which is simply t10 plus 1 equals to 20c10. We take the first term, which is 2 over 3 x squared, raise it to the power of 20 minus 10, which is 10, times negative 3 over 2x raised to the power of 10. Now we solve for it, then we get 20c10, 2 raised to the power 10 times x raised to the power 2 times 10 is 20, divided by 3 raised to the power of 10 times negative 1 raised to the power of 10 times 3 raised to the power of 10 divided by 2 raised to the power of 10 times x raised to the power of 10. Now we factor out all the common terms. So we have 2 raised to the power of 10 in both the numerator and denominator. So they factor out, leaving behind 1. Similarly, 3 raised to the power 10 is also found in both the numerator and the denominator. That factors out. So all we are finally left with is 20c10 times x raised to the power of 20 minus 10, which will be equals to 20c10 x raised to the power of 10. So this is the final. So this is the middle term. Let's go to the next one. So in this question, we have to find out the middle term in expansion of 2 over 3 times x, 2 over 3x minus 3 over 2x raised to the power of 20. So here, again, n is 20, which is an even number. So the middle term will be, the middle term is 20 over 2 plus 1 at term, which is again equals to 11th term. So therefore we find out the value for t11, which is going to be simply t10 plus 1 equals to 20c10. The first term is 2 over 3 x raised to the power of 20 minus 10, which is 10, times negative 3 over 2x raised to the power of 10. Now we simplify the values, so we'll get 20c10, 2 raised to the power of 10 times x raised to the power of 10 divided by 3 raised to the power of 10. And we have negative 1 raised to the power of 10 times 3 raised to the power of 10 divided by 2 raised to the power of 10 times x raised to the power of 10. Now we factor out all the common terms from the numerator and denominator. So we have 2 raised to the power 10 cancelling out each other. So there's 3 raised to the power of 10 and as well as x raised to the power of 10. Leaving behind negative 1 raised to the power of 10, which value is 1. So final answer will be 20c10. You can use a calculator to find out this value, but also if you leave it behind, this is going to be just fine. Let's go to the next one. So here in this question, we are given a binomial expression, a plus x plus bx whole raised to the power of 12. So we have to find out the middle term. So we start by first finding the middle term. So we see that n is equals to 12, which is an even number. So we apply the formula to find out the middle term, which is n over 2 plus 1. That will be the middle term. So we have 12 over 2, which is 6, and plus 1, so that gives us a 7. So the 7th term will become the middle term. So we'll find out the value for t7. So t7 is equals to t6 plus 1, which is equals to 12c6 the first term, a over x raised to the power of 12 minus 6, which is 6, times bx raised to the power of 6, which gives us 12c6 a raised to the power of 6 over x raised to the power of 6 times b raised to the power of 6 times x raised to the power of 6. So here we see that x raised to the power of 6 is common to both the numerator and denominator, so we can factor them out, leaving behind 1. And the final answer would be 12c6 a raised to the power of 6 times b raised to the power of 6. Then we find out the value of 12c6. So 12c6 gives us 924 times a raised to the power of 6 times b raised to the power of 6. So that is the middle term for the given binomial expression. Let's go to the next one. So here we're given another expansion and we have to find out the middle term. So we have n equals to, again, an even number, 10. So this implies the middle term, the midterm, will be equals to 10 over 2, which is 5 plus 1, so that's 6. So the sixth term will now become the middle term. Then we go ahead and find the value of t6, which is simply equals to t, 5 plus 1, which is equals to 10c5 times x squared raised to the power of 10 minus 5, which is 5, times negative 2 over x raised to the power of 5, which is equals to 10c5 times x squared raised to the power of 5 would be simply 2 times 5, so we get x raised to the power of 10, times negative 1 raised to the power of 5 times 2 raised to the power of 5 divided by x raised to the power of 5. So we pull out the negative 1. Negative 1 raised to the power of 5 is negative 1, so we pull the negative 1 to the front, and 2 raised to the power of 5 is negative 32 times 10c5. And we can simplify the exponents of x by simply subtracting 5 from 10. So the final answer would be negative 32. So let's find out the value of 10c5. 10c5 is 252 times 32 gives us 8064 times x raised to the power of 5. So this is the middle term. Let's go to the next one. So here we have to find out the middle term for the given binomial expression. So we have n equals to 10, which is even, so that would mean the middle term, the midterm would be equals to 10 over 2, which is 5. 5 plus 1 gives us 6. Thus the sixth term will be the middle term, the sixth term. So we find out the value of t6, which is equals to t, 5 plus 1, which is equals to 10c5 times the first term, which is x over a raised to the power of 10 minus 5 times negative a over x raised to the power of 5. Then we simplify the values to get 10c5 times x raised to the power of 5 divided by a raised to the power of 5 times negative 1 raised to the power of 5 times a raised to the power of 5 divided by x raised to the power of 5. So we have common terms in both the numerator and denominator, so they will factor out each other, leaving behind 1. So negative 1 raised to the power of 5 is going to be negative 1, so the final answer would be negative 10c5. You can go ahead and find the value of 10c5, that will be negative 252. So that is the answer.